What's up, guys? Coming live from Boise in... There we go. We're both in. How's it going? Who we got in here? Rue, welcome. Albert, welcome. What's up, Jordan? Okay, we started in like maybe 30 seconds. We had a really fun day. So for those who don't know, I'm up in Boise. We had a soccer camp today. It was Idaho Storm presented by Mobility Soccer camp, and it was good. We had like, what do we have, 35?
35, yeah.
35 players today. What's up, Rue? And it was good. What's up, Lisa? Very good session. We got 2 more later in the week. After the soccer camp, we went and floated the river, which was awesome. Highly recommended. A little bit cold, the water, but it's like 100 degrees air temp. So that was cool. Okay. Couple announcements real quick. One is, if you haven't seen it already, we are posting these now as podcasts. We are posting them on, we're going to have them on iTunes, and then we have them currently on Spotify. iTunes takes a little bit of time to get approved. But yeah, so we started putting these on iTunes as podcasts and Spotify. I know a lot of people can't watch them live. We've been putting them on IGTV, but I think the podcast is a great format. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started. I feel like we need to move this a little bit more central. Beautiful. Okay, so Brandon Zimmerman, welcome.
Thank you.
First off,
no
problem. First off, you go by Zim. How long has that happened? How long have you been called Zim?
Oh, since 15 probably. 14, 15.
So he has 2 brothers as well. Both played soccer. Were they both called Zim?
The older one, I don't think so. The other younger one, maybe.
Okay, so he's a middle child. Tell me a little bit about your family. Olders, youngers,
so
parents.
I got an older brother, and I kind of followed in his footsteps. He played residency. He went professionally.
We'll talk about what that means.
Right after residency, so when he was 17, he signed in Germany. So in that aspect, I didn't follow after him. But he played 10 years over in Europe. And then I have a younger brother who played college soccer, also started at St. Mary's, and then went up to Washington. And then I have a younger sister who played in Washington as well.
That's right. I forgot about the sister.
Me too.
Okay, so me and Zim, we've known each other since I was actually assistant coach at Santa Clara when he was still playing there. And that's how we kind of got to know each other. Then we started coaching the same club together. And then, yeah, kind of started coaching, kind of have very similar minds as far as soccer goes, which we'll get into. But let's go start from the beginning. So what club team did you play with?
So I grew up with a local small club that I played with in southeastern Washington. And then my parents helped me to find something that was better and more challenging and took me to Seattle every weekend, which was Crossfire Premier.
How old were you at that point?
And I was 13 at that age. And my dad would drive me on Fridays out to Seattle. It was 3.5 hours. We'd leave half day from school, he'd leave half day from work, and I'd do a training on Friday and then play usually Saturday, Sunday, and back home on Sunday.
Dang. And you started at 13?
13.
And how often you were doing that?
Every week. Pretty much every week.
How do you feel about that? You're a 13-year-old, looking back on it now, and also maybe when you were 13, what were your thoughts?
Well, the reality is we wouldn't be sitting here together if my dad and parents didn't make that sacrifice to do that. And at the time, for me, it wasn't a sacrifice. It was a gift to be able to play soccer at a higher level. And ultimately, it takes you to the places you want to go. If you want to go somewhere, you got to do more. And you got to challenge yourself. And I wasn't being challenged where I was.
I think that's an awesome mentality. Because so many people talk about the sacrifice. They're like, oh, is it worth it, the extra drive or the extra time? No, it's an opportunity.
Yeah.
Because you're playing with better kids and in a better environment. Okay, so Crossfire Premier, what was that like? For those who don't know, yeah, you can talk about it a little bit.
So Crossfire, it's a strong club in the Northwest. I learned a lot from it. It's very much a competitive mentality, a competitive attitude, and those come first. And all the other things come second. But if you don't have 1 and 2, competitive attitude, competitive mentality, you don't belong at that club. And that helped me throughout when I was playing, because if you have those things, you're gonna go on playing. I learned the other things later on in soccer. at other places, but Crossfire absolutely taught me how to be competitive.
For those that don't know, Crossfire, its biggest rival is Sounders. So they're like the two, would you say, like the rivals?
For sure.
So that's like, Seattle Sounders, the MLS team, obviously, and Crossfire. It's like the two big rivals up in the Pacific Northwest. So, okay, you were with Crossfire, and then you ended up at Santa Clara. How did you end up there? What was happening between there?
So when I was 15, so Crossfire gave me the exposure that I needed. It gave me recognition that I needed. We were playing, things were a little bit different then, right? We were playing in a lot of tournaments. We were playing all over the country, and I was able to get seen. From there at 15, I did not get into the first group of what used to be residency, which was the U17 national team. They'd go to Florida and train there. I didn't make that group, and then that was in the fall of 2015. And then come 2017, they take 40 players. I barely squeezed in because somebody else couldn't make it. So I wasn't one of the top 40 guys at that time. And I made it because somebody else wouldn't go or couldn't go or whatever the circumstances were. Then I made it to Florida, where everybody trains for the U17 national team at that time.
So this is 2005 and then 2007 is when you got in?
2007 was the World Cup. I got in 2005, yeah.
So what is residency? Because residency, I don't know if it's a thing anymore. It's not.
It's not a thing anymore for the national team. It is a thing for some clubs around the country, and I think it's a direction that clubs are trying to move. He was a place.
We got disconnected because of poor. So anyway, we're talking about residency. So what residency is? Some clubs have it now, but back then no clubs had it, and it's a place basically where you are a resident and you train and you go to school on site.
So we lived there. We'd wake up at 6 a.m. and do weights. We would train at least 2 hours a day with the coaches. We'd go to school, and 5 out of 7 of the days, we'd play another 2 hours on our own. You lived there, you're there for soccer, you did soccer.
And you were there for 2 years?
2 years, yeah.
Got it. Who were some of the players who maybe are now, like, people know that were there?
Breck Shea is probably the most prominent guy, and he was in England for a while and played for our
I'm not sure what's going on.
National team. And then he I believe he's at Atlanta now. Probably some of you guys know better than I do. But there were several other players that played through that system, and a lot of players that are still playing in the league now went through that system. But not all players, because you don't decide pros at 15.
Good point. What was your favorite experience about residency?
The traveling. When you get to see different cultures, countries, you learn a lot, and a lot more than just soccer. And you realize how lucky we are in so many aspects, and how different we are in so many aspects, for better or worse. And you see the difference. How can a country that is poorer than us in many ways be so much better than us at soccer? And you see their passion about soccer and what they do on a daily basis, and it's valuable.
What was your favorite trip?
Argentina.
Why?
Because the people are very kind. The culture there is soccer. And one funny thing about Argentina is we were playing Argentina in Argentina, and a very good friend of mine, teammate of mine will remember this, that went to Santa Clara with me, but we ended up tying, which we shouldn't have, in Argentina. And you walk down the stands and they're all spitting on you and everything, and blah blah blah, and you say, why was that your favorite experience of country? They love what they do. They love their soccer in their country, and they love how they do it. And Argentina was one of a kind of experience for me. And I haven't been everywhere. I can't say for everywhere, but it was one of a kind.
Sounds very cool. What part of Argentina were you in?
We were there for a month. So we started in Buenos Aires. We went to Rosario. We traveled to other places that I can't name. I don't know. But the life, the culture there,
all soccer.
Is all soccer.
Very cool. So you're part of this, a pretty elite group at the time, right? 40 kids, top 40 kids. top 40 kids in the U.S. for your age group. How did you decide to go to Santa Clara, and what other schools were you thinking about going to?
So I looked at 2 other schools. I looked at Clemson and I looked at Santa Clara. And looking back now, for those of you that might be looking, that was a mistake. You should keep all doors open. But it's difficult when you're young. You don't know what the right decision is. You don't know what school is right. Why did I choose to go to Santa Clara? Because they wanted me. They were a good fit for me. They knew what they wanted, and they wanted a player like me. And a player like me wasn't for everywhere. And the best thing for me was to choose some place that fit my. Clara was that for me, and it's not for everybody. And the next school might not be for you. To look at multiple options.
I like it. Okay, so tell me about, you're at Santa Clara. Obviously, I was there a little bit as well. Relatively decently successful. Could have been probably better. Time in Santa Clara. Santa Clara's done now. What's the next step?
So after Santa Clara, so first of all, 4 years at Santa Clara, and I believe in commitment. And you don't have to stay 4 years at any college, but when you commit to something, I believe in committing with it and sticking with it for better or worse. And point the finger at yourself. Don't point at anybody else. So whether it goes great and amazing or nothing is good at all, work at it. So after Santa Clara, 4 years of Santa Clara, and there were ups and there were downs. That's why I say that. I was drafted to Philadelphia Union. I was there for a while. I did not sign. I came back and I began coaching in the Bay Area.
So Philadelphia Union, obviously MLS team. What year is this? Is it probably like 2014?
Yeah.
2014?
15.
So 2014, 2015. At this point, like, soccer in the U.S. has grown pretty dramatically since like the mid-2000s. I mean, there's a lot of other options to play soccer. You have MLS, you have USL. So just because you don't make it with the MLS team, or you don't get signed with the MLS team right away, or it's not fit, doesn't mean you like can't play at a high level. So why did you not continue elsewhere? Because a lot of people, they would have continued elsewhere and maybe, look for a fit.
Yeah. So first and foremost, I'd like to say I probably could have, but I didn't because I couldn't. I would have if I could have. Okay, and I think I didn't because I couldn't, not because of playing ability, because you need to, in our country, it's different than other countries. We don't have a million scouts out there that want you part of their team. You need to put yourself out there. And I wasn't good at that time. And so after Philadelphia doesn't work. That's one team. There's tons of teams, and you need to get your name out there. And if you don't, you're probably not going to be playing if that's something that you really want to do. If I did get my name out there, maybe I'm still playing, maybe not. But at that point in time, the minimum salary in the MLS was like $40,000, I believe. And the cost of Santa Clara was more than that. And I had 1 quarter left at Santa Clara, and I needed to go finish that because then, and I still believe now, it's probably for most of us more beneficial to finish your college degree than to go chase something that might be there, because you're talking about 3-4 months of after your college season, or maybe you finish on time or whatever it is, but get your degree.
Got it. Okay, so you're done, decided not to play, or I think the real thing, one real quick I want to just hit on what he just said, was you need to be your own biggest advocate. I think that goes for anything. So that goes for, like, I want to join a new club team, or I'm looking at college. You need to be proactive and can't just wait for things to fall in your lap.
So, and that was the thing, is in college, I was considered a top player. I don't want to say I was a top player, because you can have your 40 best players at residency, but there's always probably somebody better out there than you that just didn't get seen. But when you're in that environment, they want you. And so for college, for me, and it's not always the case, but for me, it was many colleges that want you. After college, it was different, and not because I played poorly, just because it's a totally different environment.
Got it. So you're done playing now. How do you get into coaching?
So I I came back, and while I was still finishing school, a assistant coach at Santa Clara, Eric Yamamoto, talked to me about getting involved with the academy and a couple other groups, and I got into it and I loved it, and I really liked working with kids, and I liked helping kids, and it fueled the passion that I have for the game. And to be honest, I didn't plan on sticking with it at the beginning, and then I did, and it just made sense. And then there was a point in my life where I wasn't doing it and I missed it. So it's something that's been a part of your life for so long, and that you've been good at for so long, that you miss it and you can't get away from it.
I on my B license, USSFB license course, I remember like one thing that stuck with me that I think kind of like resonates with what Zim said is like, if you really want to get involved in coaching this country, like you need to do it because you love it, and you care for the game and you care for the kids. If you're in it for the wrong reasons, it's just you're not helping our country grow. And unfortunately, I've been coaching for the last 10 years, and I think that is a huge hindrance in this game in our country. This is a side note, but too many coaches in it for the wrong reasons, and not enough people that actually want to see kids improve and develop and just create better players, create a better culture, and create better people. It's part of the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. But anyway, okay, so you're coaching for a while. So in case of those didn't see, the beautiful trees behind us, in case you didn't know, what's Boise known as?
City of Trees.
City of Trees. So we're in Boise. You've been here for 2 years. What brought you to Boise?
So, and I was in the Bay Area for almost 10 years, and I love the Bay Area, but I personally, I don't have family there, and there are things in the Bay Area that are financially different than they are other places that everybody would understand. I want a new challenge. And I grew up playing soccer in a small area where there's not a lot of opportunity, and I want to help an area like that. I think like a great example to Boise 10, 20 years ago is Salt Lake City, who now gets or produces some of the best players in our country, and I think Boise with time can do that.
Got it. So what are you doing now in Boise?
So I'm coaching a small club out here.
What's the name?
Idaho Storm.
Give me a little background on them and what's your role?
2 years ago, Idaho Storm had 3 teams. Now they have 20 teams. I'm technical director there, and working with coaches to help kids and try to give back to the kids as much as we can. It's a different environment in Idaho. You don't have as many full-time coaches as you do in the Bay Area when we're in the Bay Area, but there's still people who are passionate about the game and that want to learn. So I'm doing that for them. In addition to that, working with Matt on small group sessions like has been seen in the Bay Area, and some camps, which we're here doing this week.
Which we're killing this week to finishing up. Next year is going to be fun. Okay, real quick, for those who don't know, this is Zim's dog.
Roy Keane.
Roy Keane? What do you like about Roy Keane?
Just YouTube him, watch some tackles. I appreciate on TV you see so much of the game that is fancy, pretty, but there's Instagram. But there's a select few players in the world, in the entire world, that can do that. And then there's other guys that can be really, really competitive and really, really passionate about what they do, that really make a difference, almost maybe sometimes as much of a difference as those guys you see on TV all the time. And I guess that's where he got his name, but also my favorite player growing up was Roy Keane.
Got it. And for those that don't know, we still got it. Yesterday we played an indoor game. We won 4-3, 2 goals, assists. It should have been 10-3 to be fair. Yeah. I haven't played soccer in a while, and we both should have scored a lot more goals. We both should have scored a lot more goals.
Including me, I agree.
Yeah. Okay, I think lastly for me is what do you think the most important trait for a young player is? I think you kind of just answered it, but
yeah. I mean, look, guys, there's a couple of things. One, it's surround yourself by people that believe in what you do and how you do it. And that means don't be something that you're not, okay? So if you see these things on TV, which are great, awesome. I was never that player. If you're a very good trapper and passer, then don't try to be better at these other things. Be excellent or amazing at those things that you're very good at. And then the other thing is don't underestimate the hard work, passion, competitiveness of the game, because that can be helped, coached, but it can never ever be taught. Okay, it can be helped, but it can't be taught, right? And if you don't have that mentality every single time when you come out, then it's so difficult. It's so difficult. You're always going to be average without competitive, hard work, those parts of the game. You're always going to be average. And so you need to be doing everything you can to separate yourself from the others. And right now, COVID is a great time to be doing that, right? So what are you doing that other people are not doing? Are you training? Are you doing extra work? Are you... Got a little message here. Are you doing extra work? Are you sitting at home watching TV? What is it? I mean, what is it? I remember being a kid and hitting a ball off the wall for 2 hours every night and then going to this little complex and playing with some adults. And I'm looking back now, then it was just something to do. But now it's something that made me better. Not amazing, but made me better. Because you just do something all the time and you work at it all the time, you're going to get...
Player?
Roy Keane.
What do you like about Roy Keane?
Just YouTube him, watch some tackles. I appreciate on TV you see so much of the game that is fancy, pretty, but there's Instagram. But there's a select few players in the world, in the entire world, that can do that. And then there's other guys that can be really, really competitive and really, really passionate about what they do, that really make a difference, almost maybe sometimes as much of a difference as those guys you see on TV all the time. And I guess that's where he got his name, but also my favorite player growing up was Roy Keane.
Got it. And for those that don't know, we still got it. Yesterday we played an indoor game. We won 4-3, 2 goals, assists. It should have been 10-3 to be fair. Yeah. I haven't played soccer in a while, and we both should have scored a lot more goals. We both should have scored a lot more goals.
Including me, I agree.
Yeah. Okay, I think lastly for me is what do you think the most important trait for a young player is? I think you kind of just answered it, but...
Yeah. I mean, look, guys, there's a couple of things. One, it's surround yourself by people that believe in what you do and how you do it. And that means... don't be something that you're not, okay? So if you see these things on TV, which are great, awesome. I was never that player. If you're a very good trapper and passer, then don't try to be better at these other things. Be excellent or amazing at those things that you're very good at. And then the other thing is don't underestimate the hard work, passion, competitiveness of the game, because that can be helped, coached, but it can never ever be taught. Okay, it can be helped, but it can't be taught, right? And if you don't have that mentality every single time when you come out, then it's so difficult. It's so difficult. You're always going to be average without competitive, hard work, those parts of the game. You're always going to be average. And so you need to be doing everything you can to separate yourself from the others. And right now, COVID is a great time to be doing that, right? So what are you doing that other people are not doing? Are you training? Are you doing extra work? Are you... Got a little message here. Are you doing extra work? Are you sitting at home watching TV? What is it? I mean, what is it? I remember being a kid and hitting a ball off the wall for 2 hours every night and then going to this little complex and playing with some adults. And I'm looking back now, then it was just something to do. But now it's something that made me better. Not amazing, but made me better. Because you just do something all the time and you work at it all the time, you're going to get
chat. But with this poor connection, I'm not sure if we're going to get anything.
Come on.
Do you open questions?
Give me like 2-3 more.
Anybody have any questions? Anybody have any questions at all to Zim? You can about Boise, about soccer, about coaching, about U.S. national team, about anything. Any sort of questions.
3 more. Type them.
For those who don't know Boise, I highly recommend coming out at some point. It's just really nice. There's a lot of things. If you're into outdoor stuff, like yesterday we went on a mountain bike ride. We're going to go on another one tomorrow. Today we went rafting on the river, floating, really. And then we, what else did we do? Oh, what else are we going to do? We got frisbee golf.
So tomorrow I'm going to beat him at frisbee golf, and then
No
probably
chance.
the next day I'll beat him at arm wrestling. And then the day after that, we were supposed to play 1v1, but I think he backed out because he says he has a bad hamstring.
I love it. I love it. It's all about mentality. I mean, would you sum it up like that?
For sure.
Just mentality, competing, bringing it, training consistently. Cool. Well, that's all I got. You got anyone? Oh, yeah. There is a chat, but with this poor connection, I'm not sure if we're going to get anything.
Come on.
Do you open questions?
Give me like 2-3 more.
Anybody have any questions? Anybody have any questions at all to Zim? You can about Boise, about soccer, about coaching, about U.S. national team, about anything. Any sort of questions.
3 more. Type them.
For those who don't know Boise, I highly recommend coming out at some point. It's just really nice. There's a lot of things. If you're into outdoor stuff, like yesterday we went on a mountain bike ride. We're going to go on another one tomorrow. Today we went rafting on the river, floating, really. And then we, what else did we do? Oh, what else are we going to do? We got frisbee golf.
So tomorrow I'm going to beat him at frisbee golf, and then probably
chance.
the next day I'll beat him at arm wrestling. And then the day after that, we were supposed to play 1v1, but I think he backed out because he says he has a bad hamstring.
No chance, by the way. I'll give him the arm wrestling, but that's about it. Okay. Well, anyway, guys, we got barbecue cooking, so we're going to take off. All right? Hope you guys enjoyed it.
Thanks,
Take
guys.
care. And, yeah, see you guys later. Poor connection. There's no chance, by the way. I'll give him the arm wrestling, but that's about it. Okay. Well, anyway, guys, we got barbecue cooking, so we're going to take off. All right? Hope you guys enjoyed it.
Thanks,
Take
guys.
care. And, yeah, see you guys later.